how about Antonio Gibson? He's a guy that you felt was kind of risky. Now, he finished as running back 13 last year on the second fewest attempts of any running back who finished in the top 13. He was boosted mainly by his 11 rushing touchdowns. So going off the board and kind of the end round 2 here, what is so risky about him, and what would you rather be doing in that spot?
Yeah, it's all about opportunity cost for me, really, right? Because I could take Stephon Diggs, I could take DeAndre Hopkins, I could take A.J. Brown. I feel better about all 3 of those players as far as, again, now second round, I'm not trying to hit this huge home run. I just want a really good player, right? Antonio Gibson, to me, has enough risk that I like him better as a guy that, and I'll draft several teams. So in the drafts where Gibson slides around, comes into the third round, invariably there will be some point probably this offseason where Antonio Gibson will be priced in the third round, right, in a draft that I do. And that's when I'll take him. I just don't want to pay for him in the second round when I can have, guys that are going to get 150 targets, which all 3 of the guys I just named, I think are going to be in that range, and they have upside to have more. They're all still young and in the primes of their career. They play, in good offenses. A.J. Brown's literally going to get every single target known to man in Tennessee. So even if they play conservative like they have and they run the ball a lot, I mean, he's going to see 35% of the targets most likely. Just look at the roster. Who else is it really going to go to? Mm-hmm. And he's a guy that's shown that he can attack every area of the field. He's applicable in an offense any kind of way you want to use him, close to the line of scrimmage, intermediate, off play action, run after the catch. He can also beat you deep. So, I mean, he's just a guy that has so much in his bag. It's like, man, and now his opportunity is going up. It's like, I don't want to take Antonio Gibson over A.J. Brown. I just don't want to, because I've seen A.J. Brown's an elite talent. Antonio Gibson flashed some really interesting things for us last year, but he still has to take a developmental step this year, right? He's got to take a step of eliminating J.D. McKissick, right, from his role. He's got to take another step of keeping Peyton Barber. I know Peyton Barber's not a big deal, but he's still got to keep him off the field. And let's remember, this is a guy that is still really more of a receiver that's converting to being a running back, which is why people are so excited, right? The guy did what he did in his first really true full year as a running back, and he's playing in a scheme that utilized Christian McCaffrey 2 years ago to be the RB1 in all of fantasy football. And he could be a PPR nightmare. If for some reason Antonio Gibson can keep J.D. McKissick off the field and he becomes the true every down back like what Christian McCaffrey was, even if he doesn't take a huge step forward, right, in his skill set, which he'll likely have to do to be able to earn that role. But even if he doesn't and they just kind of force him onto the field and let him stay out there all the time, he's going to end up being worth a first-round pick. So there's definitely a range of outcomes where Antonio Gibson ends up being worth it. But here's what my thought process says. A.J. Brown I would almost guarantee that by the time we draft again, right, in 2022, my guess is A.J. Brown will be a first-round pick, period, right? Wow. And so when I look at him, I look at DeAndre Hopkins, I look at Stephon Diggs, I just feel a little bit better about him, Drake. Sure. And it's not that I don't like Antonio Gibson. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm going to draft Joe Mixon ahead of Antonio Gibson. You finally got Gio Bernard out of the way. Mixon, the talent's not really been the issue, right? I know a lot of people will bag on him, but he's a good running back. And if he gets all the volume, especially if they make an upgrade to their offensive line, last year they lost their first round pick in training camp, Jonah Williams. If they take another tackle this year in the first round, right, to help out Joe Burrow and the rest of the weapons, and it's going to help the running game, I mean, I'll be even more excited about Mixon. But I think, think about it. This time last year, Mixon was a late first, early second round pick. Now you're telling me he's a mid to late second round pick, and the thorn that's been in his side of Gio Bernard is gone. And like you could make an argument Mixon should be going at the end of this first round, early second round.
Plus, we don't know what Burrow's condition is going to be. He's still coming off that injury. He could play 0 preseason games. I mean, they're probably only going to be 2 anyways, but we could actually see the first few games of the season where he doesn't even play. So they could lean on him a ton in September.
Yeah, and I would argue we really don't want that. We probably really want Burrow in there because I think overall, right, just being in a better offense would be the better option for Mixon, because the thing that I'm most excited about is Mixon can be a fine pass catcher. Right. And that's what you need in these PPR leagues. You want guys who can be out there all the time and they can catch the ball. They're going to, if you look at potentially, right, on paper right now, if you look at the Bengals, I mean, I would argue that Mixon's going to get the 3-down role. They did pay him, so he's going to get the inside the 5 work. He's going to get the short down and distance work. He's going to get the long down and distance work. He's going to get the 2-minute offense. He's literally going to get everything. And so it's going to be, if Mixon gets all that, it's going to be really hard for him to not finish, right, as a top 7, 8, 9 back, right? It's going to, and he has an upside to finish in the top 4 or 5, depending on how injuries work, right? Mm-hmm. And who gets hurt, who doesn't get hurt, that kind of thing. Joe Mixon is a guy that I think people have got recency bias on, and I get it because he burned them. Last year we told people to steer away from him at his ADP because we knew that this coaching staff had a history of continuing to put Gio on the field, just like we told folks around Josh Jacobs, whenever they kept putting a passing down back out there for Josh Jacobs. So Josh Jacobs this year, right, he's going in the 3rd round, but rightfully so. That's probably where he should go, with them adding Kenyon Drake and then having the guys they already have on their roster. Whereas with Joe Mixon, he's really got a path to be the every down guy, and we could be in an offense that could continue to